Welcome guys again. Welcome to another video today. So as you can see, right, we just played a game earlier, but that finished so shortly. So I feel I need to do one more game for you guys to watch, right? I want to make things interactive as possible. So that is my mission, to just make things more, I think, deep, and you guys can learn some more from the chess, right? So let's go for one more game, and let's do the same thing. Objectively speaking, so this speedrun allow people to learn from my chess, learn from own ideas, and benefit from, my explanation, right? I think the rating will be refunded later, so no worries. So let's start again right away. Okay, now we are black. We met an Indian player. Let's go. So now e4 he play. Great. c5. He played d4, guys. I don't know if this is like the Smith-Morra variation or not, but obviously the main idea for black is just to take that first. Okay, let's see what he plays. He played knight 3. This one technically is pretty rare. The main line here is like c3 or even queen e4. But c3 here is much more common, which is known as a Smith-Morra variation, right? So play knight 3. So here black can play various things, but I guess that I will play the thing which is the simplest. Black here can play like here, which leads to the accelerated dragon. Play here as well, leads to the normal lines. You can also play here, leads to the, I think, rough variations. This is fine as well, but we'll try something different. e5. This one also sets a small trap. You see, right? It worked instantly. Guys. The thing is to defend a pawn here, right? And you can see here from that right away. Knight is wrong. We just mentioned it earlier, right? We see the same ideas twice today. And now there comes the trap. Queen a5. Another short game. Incoming. Free knight. Right? Obviously it's not winning yet. We still need to convert a little bit. Should d3. Great move. So he can be able to defend a pawn here and he can castle next. In fact, here, so d5 seems very understandable, right? But I won't do that. I think he can be able to get his pieces out with the e5 here. For instance, d5 can castle, right? Which might not be so easy to convert. That's why I will just play normally. I think we'll just play some normal stuff. Knight f6. Time for development. Castle's good. So I play bishop e7. This is not the best one, obviously, but I think it is simple enough for conversion. When apparently we have a piece, right? So finishing development here will never be a bad idea. I can castles, obviously, I can play here as well. I think the easiest route here is just castles. Why not? Take queen d4. c3, okay, this one is coming next, obviously, right? So play the queen c5. Bishop e3 he play. So here there's some question like if you should go for the pawn here, right? Objectively speaking, so that is doable. But when I'm teaching people, I want them not to be greedy, especially when you're already a piece up. That's why I will try to play normal things. I will try to refrain from questioning the pawn. But believe me, that is definitely doable. I'll play queen b4. Queen e5, f4 may not be very fun. So I will just play here. And now time for simple development move. a3. Once again, this is good, But as mentioned earlier, I don't want to teach you guys to be greedy. That's why I just run the queen back home, consolidate, and convert a piece up. e5. Interesting. But now, why not? I don't see any troubles at all, and my queen here is pretty safe. So now time to grab the pawn. The pawn on b2, maybe poisoned, right? That's why you must be a bit careful about that. But in the center, I don't see what's wrong. Should b5, d5. Push the pawn here, get the center, and open up the bishop on c8, which seems understandable, right? Takes. So now as you can see, we are up a bishop, right? And a pawn as well. So we can even try to start and launch the attack in his king side, right? Like here, can be very, very good. G3 is, I think, a nice choice actually by him, which I think prevent the attack in this diagonal. So this is great. But there is a flaw here that suddenly this light square become very weak, right? If he somehow allow me to be able to go to f3 here, he is busted. You understand, right? Also, I can think of trying to play knight g4 and go for this light square attack. I guess this game we're having some lessons, about how to convert and how to play without allowing our opponent any kind of play at all when we up material. You understand me, right? G4, good move. I think my opponent is not defending poorly at all. Rook e8 here, defend the bishops, and get the rook into the game. Also, if I'm speaking too fast, or if my explanation is not clear enough, please tell me so that I can slow it down. Sure? Queen a4. Okay, so here I will play a tactic. This one is not forced at all, but I think it will accelerate the finish, and it just explain my ideas in a deep way. I play bishop d6. So, as mentioned earlier, I want to put queen f3, right? Queen f3. So that's why I just play here, keep the 3 bishops. And now, you see, right? It is over. There's no way he can stop me from meeting him anymore. As you can see, right? It's now over. Queen e4 is the only way to play, but I take the queen and I renew a threat. And the game is finished. GG. These light squares are so weakening, and obviously white can do absolutely nothing against us. Really, speeding through the speedrun games, I guess it's still fairly easy at this level. When I get to like maybe 1500, 1600, something like that, I think it should be much more harder, Now I think it is still kind of straightforward. Like, the e5 tricks, I think when I play that in the 1500 level, they won't fall for it, I believe. He will think now, but there's no way he can stop this mate. I can tell that. Yep. Right? So, GG's. Okay, so time to explain a bit about the game and tell you about what should happen and what I think is instructive in this particular game. So, here we play a really short game again, right? e4, c5, d4, cd4. So here white can play 2 different variations here. First one is to play c3, and the game reaches mid-mora, right? When you can play knight here, or here, or here, or here, both are playable. You can also play this one as well, refuse to get into mid-mora and get the game into Alapin variation, right? Which is now Alapin. Or queen e4. This one was played, I think, many times by MVL and some stronger players, Like here, queen d2, and things like b3, b2, right? It's actually a common idea to be seen in these variations. So obviously what I can say is that it's not so simple, and it will be some complex line in the game. So he tries knight f3. f3. What if was it c-pawn? Like, I mean, where? I mean here, right? So this is the Smith-Morra. Here, so although you're a pawn up for black, right? But white is a bit faster in development, and it leads to some very annoying tricks. The bishop c4, knight f3, queen e2. Sometimes there can be something very annoying. I know there are some very funny and ridiculous tricks in these variations. In the game, play knight f3, which is also fine. So, as mentioned earlier in the game process, I can play here, 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 even here as well. All good. But I decided to set up a trap with e5. So, one thing you should definitely know is that whenever you see your opponent offer you a free pawn or something free, trying to think about that twice if there can be a trick, right? As you know, in life, nobody gives you anything for free, right? So be careful before taking the materials. Here, so in fact, white can play bishop c4 here or c3, which will lead to this kind of operation when he is down, I think, a pawn, and he got some counter play. With a square, right? Black is okay for sure, but this should be some kind of Smith-Morra thing as well. But instead, he fought for the trap. He fought for a trap, knight e5, and suddenly, boom, right? Not what I really want to do, but happen again. I guess that at this level, so this trap can sometimes work, isn't it? In a game here, so now it's just about conversion story. Here, queen e5, bishop d3. In fact, in the game at first, I wanted to play d5 here. But then he can castles, you know? And I realized that d4 here, he can just play this one, and I can play here, right? When, although it should be fine in general, but there can be some tricks that you must be a bit careful about. Like e1 for instance, right? And then he can play like bishop here for instance with the queen. If you play here, you can play like bishop to d3, you know, and this one is renew. You should be fine for sure if you play this one, but then here for instance, right? There can be some troubles. That's why I wanted to avoid that. The thing I'm doing when I'm trying to convert is that I want to show you guys the way that doesn't allow any kind of counterplay. It is not the best way for sure, but I think it's the way that doesn't allow any, even the slightest hint of counterplay from the opponent. You know what I mean? So I just develop instead. e7 here, c3, right? Castles, takes, bishop e3. So here I'm pretty sure queen b2 is okay. I'm pretty sure about that. But guys, normally, so what I can tell you is that when you are already up a piece, you know, up material, it may be too risky to take another pawn, especially when that pawn is far away from your camp, right? But your queen may get trapped if you're not careful. For instance, you play here, right? Knight d2, you play, let's say here for instance, right? Knight c4 can be troublesome. For instance, queen c3, and the queen is badly chased away, right? See that? And the fun story is here is that queen c3 and now the queen is trapped. You see? So, all of a sudden here, you must be careful, right? That's why I wanted to get my pieces away. That doesn't allow any kind of tricks at all, you know? Queen e5 is also playable here. Let's see like f4, you know? And then he may play like, you know, let's say e5, you know, and there can be some troubles. Although if you play here, you are gonna be completely fine as well. In the game, play queen b4. e5, and here I do prepare knight to d5 over knight g4 is fine as well, you know. Basically things are all good in my opinion, but I think knight d5 is better. I just realized that knight g4 allows d2, and suddenly I'm in trouble. Here I get this book, which is very funny, and I must repeat. Oh my gosh. So I guess that my conversion is not very smooth as well. But even here, I think it's okay for me. Like here, right? Text, and I can be still a piece up, right? I can play here later on, should get out, and it is gonna be winning easily. Understand me? So in the game here, he play e3, b4, c3, knight a6, a3, queen a5. Queen b2 is okay, guys, but as I mentioned earlier, right? Your queen is too far away from your opponent's camp. I mean, from your camp, and it is not that supported, right? Which means that sometimes it can get trapped. You know what I mean? So in the game, I just reject the pawn and play queen a5. He play e5, but now I just take it for sure, right? The center is quite safe, and I see no troubles. So free material, we'll take that. But as you can understand me, right? We don't want to take the material if it is can be potentially tricky or dangerous. But here, no trouble, so just capture it. Here, should be d5, getting center working, and open up your pieces. Should take here. If you play rook e1, for instance. So now, like to play. Here, if you are black, what do you want to do? Black is up a full piece, and you got so many ways to play here. But now, if you are black, what may you want to continue? Here, I have a plan that I think will work out well. My opponent kind of stopped that. But here, if this one happens, what may you want to continue? As you can see clearly, your queen now is in the same file with the rook, right? Which looks very tricky and can be a bit troublesome. d4 is not the best one to play, since now I think, like, I mean, why can't play here, for instance? Although you will still be up material, right? It may be somewhat tricky, I suppose. Like here, for instance, and this one can be played, I guess. Although I think you should be completely winning here too. Queen d6 is a very safe choice. I agree with that. Now your queen get away from the pin, from the potential pin, right? And you can play like rook d8 here. You can play like here out later on, which is also very, very good, isn't it? But I think for me personally, the best way to play is knight g4. As you can see here, right? It puts lots of pressure on the white's camp. And this shoot pawn now is under pressure, isn't it? And it's not so easy here to do the things. You understand me? So, somehow here, what I can say is that h3 allows queen h2, right? When obviously it is going to be winning very, very easily. Like here, for instance, knight 3 and d4, or here. So many choice. And g3 now is also really winning, right? For instance, queen h5. h4, you can play d4 if you want to, or you can even consider this move to go for the strong attack, right? When things are looking so damn strong, like here, for instance, right? And this is the thing. The king here will be in big trouble very, very soon, and I think it's going to be winning for sure. So, somehow here, knight g4 just help you to launch a strong attack, right? And black is winning here no matter what happens. In the game, he defends better. He takes here. g3, good move. h3, and f5. But then the flaw with g3 is that it just leaves some light square really winning, right? And I try to exploit that right away. g4, we developing here, queen a4. In the game, just set up small traps, which is kind of clear that he didn't need to take that for sure. I mean, he didn't need to take that. He fought for that, you know. He fought for this one here, and it's over, right? Now the mate is inevitable. This is quite clear. He can reject the sacrifice. He can play rook d1, for instance, or knight e2, but it's still gonna be winning, right? You can trade the material and gonna be easy winning games. If you're not careful here, you may play g5, you know, g5, with the same ideas. But here it can allow rook e5, isn't it? Which leads to some trouble for your own king on g8. See that? When things wanna be so fun. Here, I think the best way to play is bishop queen, you know, but this is also not so fun at all. Take here allows mate, right? Here, I mean, if one bar here, I don't know, let's make a look here. Okay, you can see it's made in 2 now, but even here, it is already minus 6 in this positions. Well, I just don't want to show you the even bar is not cut off. Like, I want to explain to you about how the position is and how about the evaluation, you know. I don't want you to to be so dependent on the engine's evaluation, since sometimes the engine can just play something that is just so hard for us to understand. That's why I want to explain things from human point of view. You know what I mean? That's why I try to not use the even bar. I can use it for sure. Hey, I mean, for this series, I want to be a true teacher, you know. I want to be someone who can guide you some chess skills. He can play knight 2 here, I guess so. But I can just like play, g5 again. Now I think it's working, you know. Or you can also play like a queen g4, which is also killer, isn't it? So somehow this last square here is so weak that he couldn't be able to stop. But still, even if he didn't fall for that, you know, he was in big trouble. He's down a piece and a pawn. I got a strong bishop pair. His king is weaker than mine, and all the things just favors me, isn't it? So, any questions about the game? I still want to let you guys some time to think about the game and ask me some questions so that I can try to answer it. I don't know if I'm making things so fast, but I hope that you guys can all enjoy the game and try and learn things together, right? I know it's not easy there. We just hope that people can try to enjoy stuff and learn things together. You know what I mean? d4? You can push d4 all the time, but here the square is still covered, right? You can prepare for that by playing c5 too. d4 is a thing you can push all the time, but obviously you need to prepare for that first. Even here early, you know, like here. Actually, if you play the rook e1, you can play d4. But now when you take the knight here, you need to have some more supporters to work d4 to make that available. So in the game here, you see, right? It's just like a one side of the game. What I can tell you to learn is that somehow, so he fought for a trap so early on, right? After which, it's just a matter of conversion. So whenever you see your opponent give you a free pawn, think twice before accepting that. Sometimes it is venomous. You know what I mean, right? So be careful in that scenarios. Second, when you're converting, right, you don't want to allow any kind of complacency. You don't want to allow any kind of tricks and cut of plays, right? Which obviously can be very annoying for your games. As people mentioned here, at this level, so obviously up a piece and up material is not something so easy. You still need to work to convert, right? But the way to do it, I think the easiest way to do things is not to get so hyped so early and try to play without allowing any color play at all. You know what I mean? So I hope you guys enjoy the videos, enjoy the lessons. I will upload this thing to YouTube later on, so you guys can feel free to follow me and give me the feedbacks. Hopefully you can learn something and you can benefit from the lessons, right? Thank you and see you later. Peace.